So recently I did a video on whether you should buy a 3DS in 2017, and some of the feedback I got was if I could do one of these for the PlayStation Vita. Now I did one for the Vita a few years ago and not much has changed, but a lot of you guys wanted an updated video, so to show you guys that I actually do take your feedback seriously, here is the video. Should you buy a PlayStation Vita in 2017? The PlayStation Vita has been out since around 2011, depending on which part of the world you lived in, and it's gone through a lot of trial and error over the years. Currently, it's hard to find any PlayStation Vita models brand new in stores. Your best option is to find something new online, import from Japan, or visit a game-specific store like GameStop. And yet, even still finding a Vita brand new in those stores is pretty rare. Chances are you're going to need to buy the system used online here in North America. Currently, there's 3 models of the PlayStation Vita. There's the PlayStation Vita Original. These go anywhere between $90 to $120 depending on where you get it from and what it comes with when you buy it. This model of the PlayStation Vita is a little bit thicker and heavier than the newer model, and it features an OLED display with great looking colors, but the trade-off is that it has a proprietary charging port. The next model is the PlayStation Vita 2000, otherwise known as the PlayStation Vita Slim. This model got rid of the OLED display for a less prettier looking but battery saving LCD display. The charging port is now a micro USB port too, making it much easier to find a charging cable for it. And of course, as the name suggests, this model is slimmer and lighter than the original PlayStation Vita. Actually, battery life is slightly better too. This model tends to go for $90 to $140 depending on where you get it and what it comes with when you buy it, also if it's the traditional black color. If you're looking to get one of the brighter looking colors from Japan, those tend to go for $190 to $240, but those are also brand new. Lastly, there's the PlayStation Vita TV or the PlayStation TV depending on the country you live in. These are sort of like PlayStation Vitas in a box that can connect to a TV. It's a micro console of sorts that has the internals of a PlayStation Vita and uses either a PS3 or a PS4 controller to play games on the TV. This is the cheapest PlayStation Vita option out there, but it's also the most limited. You can play every single Vita game on these. For example, Gravity Rush and Uncharted Golden Abyss aren't playable on it. The list of compatible games for the PlayStation TV will be linked in the description down below underneath the like button. One benefit of it though is that you can actually use it as a capture device. If you have a HDMI splitter and a capture card, you can actually use this to stream PlayStation Vita or just record PlayStation Vita games. Now all models of the PlayStation Vita basically require you to have a memory card, and this kind of sucks because the Vita uses proprietary memory cards. They've gotten pretty cheaper over time, but they still can get pretty pricey. An 8GB goes for $20, 16 goes for $30, 32 goes for about $50, and Japan exclusively got the 64GB memory card that retails for the super cheap price of $100. Yeah, no wonder the Vita is dead. Oh, and that's another thing, the Vita is pretty much dead at this point. Yeah, sure, new games come to it every few weeks, but most of them are either indie game ports or Japanese games, and I'm going to be straight up with you guys at this point. If you're not a weeb or an otaku, you're probably not interested in any of the Japanese games coming out from this point on. Now I know a lot of hardcore Vita fans are going to be mad about that statement and start commenting down below, Luis, what about the new Akibabi or the new Drive Girls, and, well... Point proven. Of course, this doesn't mean that all Japanese games are pervy on the Vita. You get some really great ones too, like Persona 4 Golden, the Danganronpa series, which by the way is getting a 3rd game out pretty soon, and most recently, Ys Origins. If you're buying a PlayStation Vita in 2017, you're essentially going to play 3 categories of games, and the first one being the backlog of AAA games when Sony was still actually supporting the PlayStation Vita, back in its first about 2 to 3 years. I'm talking about games like Uncharted Golden Abyss, a true Uncharted game on the go with a few touchscreen puzzles here and there, but also fun regardless. Gravity Rush was an interesting action-adventure game from Japan Studio about a girl that wakes up with no recollection of her past, but also the ability to control gravity. Wipeout 2048 is a futuristic racing game that offers gameplay similar to Wipeout HD. It's also one of the more impressive looking games on the Vita, accompanied with some frickin' sick music too. The list goes on with titles like PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, Little Big Planet Vita, Tearaway, Killzone Mercenary, the best shooter on the Vita, Minecraft, Call of Duty Black Ops Declassified, haha, just kidding, that game sucked. But anyway, those are some of the essentials from the AAA support on the Vita back when it was actually supported. There's also a bunch of indie games that are incredibly to play as well on the Vita. Fez, Limbo, Spelunky, Terraria, Axiom Verge, Bastion, Don't Starve, Guacamelee, Severed, Super Meat Boy, Towerfall. There's literally an ocean of indie games for you to go back and play on the Vita, and I'm sure a lot of you guys are going to say, I have this on PC, I have this on another platform. They're just really comfortable to play and enjoyable on the Vita, that's all I'm saying. It's actually what introduced me to a lot of these indie games, like Don't Starve for example. That's something I totally found out about because of the Vita port. The last category of Vita games are the Japanese ones I mentioned earlier. And yeah, of course you got your pervy ones, but you also have some masterpieces like Persona 4 Golden, possibly the best game on the platform, the Mystery Murder series Danganronpa, Dragon Quest Builders, which is literally Minecraft meets Dragon Quest, Final Fantasy X and X-2 HD Remastered, Soul Sacrifice, and Freedom Wars, possibly the last game from Sony I think. There's plenty of good quality JP games out there that aren't all about fan service. Now there's quite a bit of genres out there on the PlayStation Vita thanks mostly to the indie game scene, but aside from that, the main focus of the PlayStation Vita are probably these three genres: visual novels, RPGs, and turn-based games. If you really are into those three genres of games, you pretty much should be sold on the PlayStation Vita at this point. Even if they aren't any new games, there's a huge backlog of games for you to play that I'm sure you'll love on this thing. Now aside from actual PlayStation Vita games, you actually have the option to download a bunch of PSP and PS1 games off the PlayStation Network store, and if you own any of these digitally already, you can just download them straight to the Vita. You can even remote play to your PS4, so essentially stream the games on your PS4 over to your Vita, and this isn't just limited to digital games, but also disc games as long as they're inside of your PS4. While it may not be the best experience, technically it means you could play games like Persona 5 on your Vita if you really wanted to and you had a stable internet connection. I think if you're content with the backlog of games you can play on the PlayStation Vita, or just really a fan of RPGs, I think the Vita is a perfect fit for you. There really isn't too much left to look forward to in terms of new releases, but luckily a lot of people are selling their Vitas online at pretty good bundled prices. If you can snag a Vita with a few games and a memory card for about $100 or so, I'd say jump on the deal, especially if you're looking at the backlog or the RPGs and you're pretty happy with what you see. I really enjoyed my PlayStation Vita. I think it's a great RPG machine and a really great indie game machine, although I mostly switched, no pun intended, to the Nintendo Switch for my indie games as of late, but it's still a great RPG machine for sure. Let me know what you think of the Vita in the comment section down below if you own one. If you enjoyed the video, drop it a like, subscribe if you haven't already, and click that bell icon to be part of the notification squad. Thank you all very much for watching, hope you guys have a great day, and I'll see you all in the next one.